Prism Power, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever get into Sailor Moon?
Of course.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if she's going to get that
I
reference.
love Sailor Moon.
Sometimes I forget that you're also a child of the 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is she going to get this reference? And then
Yes,
I'm like, oh,
I'm
yeah.
not that
Duh.
old.
Duh. You were the one on like our first
I am
episode that's
old.
like, I'm 10 years older than you.
I am old.
It's a measly 4.
In
3. It's a measly 3.
I'm 37.
4. I'm 33.
Yeah, so...
I'm not good at math.
But in girl years, that's like dead. I'm ancient.
No. No, 30 is the new 20. So you're like 27.
I'm almost 40.
You're not
What's
even in your
40?
30s. The new 30?
40s is the new 30?
Yeah.
All right, I look forward to that then.
Yeah.
This is recording then another tandem episode, so another two-parter.
Yes.
Where we're doing the moons.
The moons.
So we're gonna definitely talk about if you listen to the Blue Moon Murders.
That was the inspo.
We're gonna hit on that itself.
The Blue Moon.
The Blue Moon.
Are you going to definitively tell me this episode?
Yes,
what
I
a Blue
am.
Moon is?
Yes, I am.
I listened back to that episode and I was like, we are all over the place.
It's great. Well, because then I was like, when, you know, you're talking to somebody else and they come up with like a concept and then you're like, huh.
Am I wrong?
Yeah. Or like, is that possible?
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah.
just got to wonder. And the one thing that you asked me was whether there could be 2 in 1 year. And I'm going to talk about that. So I went back and listened to the little questions that you were asking me.
Oh, she's like the little podcast host.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm listening. So this one is really good because we're both Cancers, so we're run by the moon.
And I should also say, yeah, that my episode is not necessarily moon based.
Oh.
It's moon adjacent.
Okay.
Well, because it's werewolves.
Oh, yeah, but the full moon is definitely, that is moon-based.
Yeah, but it's moon inspired. I just mean I'm not really going to be talking about the moon in mine.
You're going to be talking about something that only comes out in the moon, so I think that is good. Yeah.
Does it?
I guess we'll get to that.
Rock your world.
I guess we'll get to that. So yeah, how do you feel about the moon? Like, do you move with the moon? Like,
so it's really funny that you say that because I would have periods of like, why am I being so erratic and why am I so short tempered and why am I so like, eh? And then I started paying attention to the full moon cycle. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, like my like really stressed, like I'm like feeling like at my peak come at like full moon times.
yeah,
What does that mean?
you'll learn.
Oh, cool.
Mm.
Is that like a...
I just wondered how you
No, I definitely like a lot of times when I'm like, why am I feeling like, why am I so irritable? Why am I like,
You
why
check
is
out the
it?
calendar?
And then I'll go, I'm like, I should check what moon phase it is. And
how do you
9
feel
times,
right now?
9 times out of 10, pretty good.
Because tomorrow is a full moon.
Yes.
Tomorrow's a full moon. We're also in a lunar eclipse. We're about to be on the blood moon, the hunter's moon.
I don't know. I have a short temper, just like
Always.
any given day. But yeah, I don't know. I was triggered by that Reddit comment that we mentioned an episode or 2 earlier. So,
Understood.
yeah, that's how I'm feeling. How are you feeling? Do you?
I feel awful
With
now.
the moon cycle?
Yeah.
Wow.
Full moon. I love the full moon, but I do not like lunar eclipses.
Yeah.
I don't like solar. I don't like any of that stuff. And I don't like Scorpio moons. I don't do well moving into that. I don't do any. Yeah. So it's important, like transit tables, like how I make transit tables.
Yeah.
I would recommend like somebody like you that feels like, oh yeah, I have identified that now. Getting a transit table or following moon transit
So you can
because
see
you
it
know what's
coming.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can. It's anticipating it, but
Yeah,
I'm
for
just-
me, it's like it's like I'm in the throes of it before
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what is up?
do you know what your natal chart is? Like, do you know what moon you are? What's your moon?
I'm a Cancer, Sun, and Moon.
Yeah, it's the worst, man.
Yeah, I feel my feelings. I have no
Yes.
choice but to feel my feelings.
Yep, it is.
But I think that's a blessing because like so many like people in my life don't feel their feelings.
yeah,
And, like, that's why, like, it never really, like... I mean, not to say that I don't carry stuff around, but, like, when people are like, let it out, you know what I mean? You can't bottle stuff up. I'm like,
yes, I can.
well, and also, I don't do that. Like, if I'm feeling a feeling, like, I express it. And, like, if I have it, like... It's part of, like, my no filter. Like, you know what I mean? If I have a thought, I don't carry it around with me because I'm just gonna say it.
I wish that there are parts of like other people that I could take on, like the people that are like, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Those type of people. I wish that sometimes I could be like, it is what it is, and it just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Instead of sleeping and the anxiety and the worry.
You know,
and,
I very much agree with you on that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good balance. It's just doing a lot more shadow work, figuring out what the fuck is wrong with me.
What's your natal chart? What's your big 3?
Leo is my rising.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm Cancer. Through and through. The rest
You're
of it.
Sun and Moon Cancer too?
Mhm.
Oh my god, that's why we get along so well.
Yes.
You know what my rising is?
What?
Gemini.
I believe that. I could see that.
Because I'm all over the place.
I could see that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's also where the communication comes in.
Well, and it's also like not that you're like a masker in a negative way, but applying yourself to who you're around,
Mm-hmm.
being that type of person.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that.
Oh, yeah.
But you have a lot of practice in that in your real life. Like, you just don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's because I need to protect parts of myself around certain people.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So that does come in handy.
Understood. My husband is an Aquarius through and through, and he could care less about anything.
Yeah.
And then when I am like my most emotional, he's like, please let me know when it's over because it's not that serious. And I'm like, are you kidding?
Maybe not for you!
But I really wish that I could be more that person.
I say that all the
My
time,
friend
too,
Kim
yeah.
is also in a super Aquarius energy. And stuff just flows right off of her shoulders.
But I like being as sensitive as I like being able to.
I
feel
like being
my feelings.
in tune.
I don't
with,
like crying at commercials, but
likewise, or like even sounds on TikTok. I'm like, ugh,
yeah.
please stop.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's very much moon energy. Like it's
Mhm.
being surrounded by moon energy.
Yeah.
So first, I'm gonna play a truth or lie game with
Ooh,
you
okay.
about the moon.
Fun.
So I'm gonna tell you a fact, and you're gonna tell me whether it's a truth or a lie.
Okay.
And we'll see what you know about the moon.
How smart am I?
Yeah. There's a graveyard on the moon. Truth or a lie?
True.
True. Among 200 pounds of trash that's on the moon, there's also 12 astronauts buried that have died during missions on the moon since 1969. One of them was named Eugene Shoemaker. He's one of the founders of the field planetary science. He was actually taken there
Cool.
to be buried on
I think
the
I
moon.
did know that there was at least one person buried on the moon.
Yep.
You said there's 12?
There's 12 people on the moon right now. Yeah.
A whole new meaning to man in the moon.
Literally. I wonder actually, I didn't look up to see how many of them are women.
Oh.
I just wondered now that you said that.
How many are?
I don't know.
Oh, you
That's why
didn't
I said
look
I
it
didn't
up.
look that up.
Wow, way to go.
I know. Who runs the world? Okay, so truth or a lie. You can use being moonsick to claim not sane in court.
I'm gonna say that that's true, because isn't that where we get lunatic from?
Yes. Okay, so see, you're so smart.
I am.
Middle Ages began using the term moonsick, which they later called lunatics.
Lunatic, yeah.
The moon greatly affecting the mood of an individual has been used in many cases as a descriptive for people committing crimes during lunar phases.
Yeah. That's why she's going loony. Yeah.
Yeah, you're so smart. Looney Tune? I wonder what that is. That
That's a university.
no, but I mean, but I was just thinking like loony, whether they changed it from Luna to loony to fit like that narrative, but it's really derived from lunatic.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
And they just call it loony then, but Loone?
Loony is just like slang for lunatic. Yeah.
Interesting. So there's
Lunatic is an old word, because you hit the name on the head. It
Yeah.
comes from Luna. Yeah. People going crazy during the moon.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Truth or a lie? Each year the moon moves 4 centimeters towards the Earth.
Towards? I thought it moved away.
You are correct again.
Ah!
We should have had like a buzzer.
Ah!
You need to put a sound in there for a buzzer. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, you are right. It is moving away from the Earth. It's estimated that in 500 million years, the Earth will move over 14,000 miles further away.
Bye, moon.
At least we won't be here for that. Can you imagine what the riptide is going to be like then? Holy hell.
God. That's crazy. So she's just slowly drifting away.
Yep.
Bye, girl.
Seriously. Okay, so truth or a lie. We see all sides of the moon in our lunar phase.
Yeah, I'm gonna say true, because I feel like I know that the Earth is rotating, and then the moon is also rotating, right?
It's actually false. We only ever see the front side of the moon.
The moon's face locked?
Yep, you only see the front side. The darkest side of the moon has the most crater damage on it, actually. But it can only be seen from astronauts because the moon never turns. The name they name these craters, and I encourage you to actually look some of them up because they're really creepy, some of them.
You can see them?
Yeah. Well, astronauts can see them.
Well, because if
they go around,
depending on
where
the sun hits it.
And the satellites. Yeah,
okay.
One of them is called the Crescent Moon crater, which actually appears to be full of blood.
Creepy.
Very.
Because I've heard that there's no actual, like, they say that there's no dark side of the moon, but that would be why, because depending on where it is, the sun is going to hit the back of it eventually.
And that's what we don't see. We see the front side of the moon.
But that's what they mean by the dark side of the moon, is you're not seeing it.
You got it.
Gotcha, but it's not actually dark.
Correct.
Work.
Okay, truth or a lie. Moon dust is deadly.
I'm just gonna say that that's true, because why are we ingesting things from space?
True.
It's probably got like metals and shit in it.
True. It is actually one of the biggest headaches in the NASA research of the moon, because it can be carried in on suits or like equipment or anything like that. And when exposed to humans, they describe it as a lunar hay fever, and it could destroy 90% of the lungs and your brain tissue in 24 hours.
So it's like popcorn lung on steroids.
Yeah, and it just kills them instantly.
Ugh.
Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
It's like suffering, like it's really bad.
Oh, it's not pleasant.
No.
Ugh.
Crazy, huh?
What
Did
kills
you like
you?
that?
What kills you though?
It gets into your lungs, particles.
Is it because of the particles themselves, or is it like
Yeah.
popcorn lung?
They said that it's like glass.
You know what popcorn lung is, right?
Yeah.
The people that work in popcorn factories.
Mm-hmm.
Clowns get it too.
Clowns?
It's
Oh.
called clown lung too. Yeah.
I did not know
'Cause you
that.
breathe in
We
the
should do a whole
foundation.
episode on clowns.
Oh, what was that year that all the clowns were just like popping up? Remember? Did you watch that Wrinkles?
Yes. Movie? I did not watch that because why would I?
It's fun.
But I do remember when people used to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That was creepy.
It was weird.
That probably derived from a creepypasta.
Probably. It's a tulpa.
Yeah.
Everything's a tulpa in my brain.
Just what tulpa you tap into.
Literally.
Okay, so I just wanted to discuss the basics first, right, of the lunar cycle, and then how you can utilize them in different ways.
Okay.
So lunar cycles being the new moon, the waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, the full moon, the waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent.
Okay.
Okay. So the moon's shape never changes. We just orbit around so we can see different patterns of sunlight, allowing us to see certain parts during different parts of the cycle.
Right.
In many cultures, the moon is heavily used in rituals throughout the month, as well as different, lunar cycles. Each one has its own use.
Mm-hmm.
For example, at the beginning of a lunar cycle or the waxing period, when you can first see the growth of the moon, it's best to do positive work, energy work, manifesting, affirmations, etc. And when you're in the waning period, which is the last half, you should be used to remove, banish things from your life, because we're in between the two. Which is still the dark moon. It's best for people to do dark or black magic, or as you say, put people in the freezer.
What's a dark moon? A new moon?
Dark moon's in between.
What do you mean, in between?
In between. In between a new moon and a full moon is the dark moon.
So like the waxing and the gibbous and all those. So how do I tell between waxing and waning? I just got to look at the last, if it was a new moon or a full moon?
Yep.
So what, we're waxing right now? Well,
no.
We were just waxing?
We're actually waning right now because we're about to be in a full moon.
So what's first? Waning?
Mm-hmm. No, waxing is first.
So you come out of a new moon, you wax.
Yeah, and then you go to a dark moon, and then you wane into a new one.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's the dark moon's best when you do black magic, which I don't do.
Work.
But when you put people in your freezer,
that could be construed as black magic.
That's what I mean. That's when you best do it when it's dark.
So all those lemon curses that I'd be doing.
Some people be doing them on the internet. Lastly, the full moon is the greatest and most powerful, obviously. You're doing the most positivity stuff during that. But with full moon still comes eclipses, which can be really good for good or bad magic, as they're super powerful. It just depends on how you look at it. It's important to note that the full moon itself actually lasts 3 whole days.
Yeah.
Whether it's clear or not, it's recognized as a 3-day cycle. So if you forget to do moon water on the first day, it's really not that serious. You still have the energy for another day.
Buffy taught me that.
Yeah. The moon to date is the oldest tool in ritual magic.
Good for her.
Yep.
She's like the Madonna of rituals. She just like constantly reinvents herself.
Ooh,
She's still relevant.
hey!
She's still relevant all these eras later.
She's something. Okay, so let's talk about moons with special phases.
Ooh, okay.
So, as a follow-up to a previous episode, we'll set the record straight on the blue moon.
Are these like blue moon, blood moons, things like that?
Yeah, kind of, yep. So there's the blue moon. When there are 2 full moons in the same month, the second is classified as a blue moon. Mm-hmm. It said that the blue moon is more powerful than any other full moon, and it represents itself only every 2.5 years.
Okay.
However, you would ask whether we can have more than one in a year, and the answer is yes.
Yeah.
But it only happens 4 times per century. And we actually only started referring to the additional moon in the 80s. But Hindu and Chinese people have actually built in what they call a leap month into their calendar for when they occur. So they technically do
that, yeah.
So they do 13 months when they know that there's going to be a blue moon.
Yeah.
So magically they compare to it as like Samhain, when the veil between the spirit
on a blue moon
world is the thinnest.
Oh,
yep.
Cool.
Blue moons bring heightened clarity, enhanced psychic abilities, and spirit connections. Blue moon rituals have long-term results, so you just got to make sure that you're watching what you do.
Because you've amplified it, so the term is going to be amplified
and you can't, like, if you believe in that sort of thing, you can't fix it until 2.5 years later.
Oh, because you just put it into motion, and now you're going to need another blue moon.
And they don't happen often.
Once in a blue moon.
Yeah, and if you're think about it, if you're doing it in the second blue moon of the year.
Oh, you're hosed.
Yes, and now that I know that, I would never.
Well, you may want to test something out on the... If you know that there's going to be 2 in a year, maybe test it out on the first one, and then by the second one, be like, okay, no.
But I never would have thought about that as the second one, which only happens 4 times every century.
Didn't we just have... I feel like we just had one of those.
We just had a blue moon.
No, one of those, like, 2 in 1 year, like, not too long ago.
I'll have to look that up. I'm honestly not sure. I know that we have a blue moon, obviously, but...
Because we had that super blue moon not too long ago, and I feel like it was one of those where it was like the second blue moon in a year, and but this one was also like a super moon. Because remember when we had that one that was like a super blue?
Well, we have a lot of super moons.
Yeah.
Which is when we're closest to the sun.
Yeah.
They call those super moons, but I'll have to look up when the last...
There was one, I think it was like a year or 2 ago, where it was like one of those, like, it was a blue moon and a super moon and like one other thing.
Oh, you're right. It was last year. You're right. It was during
And they were like, this only happens, like...
It was during that end of last year, December.
And I feel like, it
was
like,
the equinox.
There was another blue moon like somewhere earlier in the year or something. I may be making that part up, but...
We're going to look at it.
There was definitely like a super blue, because everyone was like, what the fuck?
Because it only happened like once in our lifetime.
Yeah, they were like, this is never gonna... And I slept through it.
That's probably what you should do, honestly.
I mean, I feel like that stuff always happens. They're like, wake up at 2 a.m. to see this meteor shower. And I'm like, I wake up the next morning like, there was a meteor shower?
I saw a shooting star on my way to work the other day, and I was like, audibly. I was like having an out-of-body experience.
I used to see them all the time as a kid.
Did you really?
Yeah, like all the time.
Well, as we just learned in our last episode, which was your Ouija episode, was the last one we just did, right?
What are you bringing up?
That you have a lot of magic in your
family
history.
Yeah.
And that's probably why
I used to see them. I used to see them all the time as a kid.
I love that.
But I also used to like spend a lot more time outside of my house when I was a kid.
Well,
I don't ever leave.
I have to drive to work in the dark, unfortunately. And I was on the highway. I was like, oh. And looking around, did anybody else see that? Like, nobody cared.
My thought always, when I was a kid and I would see them, was always like, is that an airplane going now? That was always my thought.
Because you're like a cryptic.
Because I'm like a morbid.
You poor thing.
Like,
I get it.
Oh God.
We're like those poor families.
Literally. I also was obsessed with Reba McEntire as a kid, and for some reason, like, you know, when you just like, for some reason,
as a singer or an actress,
both. No, as a singer. Because I don't think she was acting really in anything, like, when I was, like, obsessed with her as a kid. And for some reason, don't ask me why I thought this.
I'm gonna ask
Every airplane I thought had Reba McEntire in it.
What?
I don't know. So, like, I saw an airplane and I was like, Reba's up there. This is your one chance, Fancy. Don't let them down. Like, I don't know.
So you're disturbed, is what you're saying.
I mean, I also thought, like, the HOV lane was the anchovy lane, so...
Okay, well, also, I will say this. So Disney always puts out a summer movie, right?
Yeah.
They usually always put it out right around our birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think, because my
It
birthday's
was for your birthday.
I did. I used to think Disney was putting out movies for my birthday.
They're like, Disney knows how big of a fan I am.
Seriously, I literally would be like, oh my god, the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That's more far-fetched than Reba being in every
I don't think it is. Actually, I really don't think it is. Okay, so let's talk about lunar eclipses.
Okay.
So they're very rare, and they can either be your best friend or your enemy.
Okay.
I personally do nothing with eclipses, which we've talked about many times. But
or you're like me and they're a casual acquaintance and you're not even aware of them happening.
which is probably, you should say that way. In ritual work, eclipses embody every energy from every cycle. That's why they're so powerful.
Oh, so you could use it for anything.
But that's a lot of energy, and it could be good or bad.
Yeah.
So do your research and find out when it actually is in your time zone too, and especially what zodiac it's moving through, because that's the energy it's going to derive from it.
That's what that was my follow-up question. Isn't
Yeah.
there going to be energy based on where it is?
Correct. Yep. That's
Cool.
why I say a transit table is the best way to like track stuff like that, because you know what's going to happen. You know whether you can work with the energy. You know what energy it's bringing.
Yeah.
And then you'll know what your next month is supposed to
It's
look like.
easier to map the road ahead because you're seeing where everything is
Yep.
right there instead of just like looking at an app.
And especially like if you like resonate with Mercury, or you resonate with Venus as a woman, or you resonate with some kind of different energy, you can follow that one too, because they
Yeah.
are also rotating within their own constellation path.
Right.
And you might resonate with something more in that way
Yeah.
if you like a planet better.
That makes sense.
hmm
Why
Some
don't
people aren't
you-
ruled by the moon.
Why don't you resonate with Scorpio? I mean,
Ugh.
it's hard saying why anybody resonates with anything, but is there
Well,
a specific, like, what
yeah.
about Scorpio?
Scorpio energy to me is like it's a non-emotional energy. Same with Aquariuses. I don't
Okay.
So Scorpios are like a toxic energy to me. Not so
Not the person, just
Yeah, I don't
you're-
well
yeah,
no
yeah.
the people. Not like, all my best friends are Scorpios. Isn't that wild?
So my two best friends, the ones that bookend me on their birthdays, they're
Yep.
both Scorpio risings.
Both of mine are true Scorpios. And I always end up surrounding myself with Aquarius and Scorpios, and those are the energies that I do not resonate with the most.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird? I think it's because I want to see myself as those people, and I just don't. And so I just surround myself with those
See,
people.
and I'm one of those people where I just don't have like. I mean, I guess I surround myself with cancers because my two besties are cancers and you're a cancer.
Mhm.
But like, those are the only through lines. Everybody else is like a random,
That's
some kind of
wild.
random.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
it's weird that my besties are like, we're all born like June 22nd, June 23rd, me June 24th, and then the other June 25th.
That's so
like,
wild.
You fell right in line.
That's so weird.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And you don't think you're magical.
And the other weird part, Megan always says that we're going to know when I meet my soulmate because his birthday is going to be June 26th because Megan's husband is June 27th. Hers is
So you would complete the cycle.
hers is the 25th, the day after mine.
Well,
so
you-
he would fall right in line up.
We could do a whole other episode too on the cusp of magic, because
Do you believe in cusps?
Yeah. I'm a cusp of magic baby.
I know, right? But when I say that I'm a Cancer on the cusp of Gemini, people like, I don't believe in cusps.
I do.
I do.
I could see definitely both sides.
Because I
of myself.
feel like I pull heavy from Gemini.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Interesting. Okay, moons. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But yeah, lunar eclipses is what we were just talking about. So just being careful what zodiac they're moving through.
Yeah, being
just
aware.
because you're pulling that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially also if you're doing like, I dare to say baneful magic, but if you're doing like dark magic of any kind, especially during a lunar eclipse, you really want to find out what zodiac pattern it's moving through. Because that might not work.
You
in
must
your
really
favor.
want to fuck someone over to work on an eclipse because if you're sending stuff out with the potential for it coming back to you
Some
and you're doing
people-
it during a magnitude.
Yeah, some people really only work with eclipses though.
You've said that. That's insane to me.
Yeah, because they feel like that's their heightened.
I feel like I know those kind of people.
I do too.
Those, like, they're just so erratic where it's like, I know what kind of energy you're working with.
Yes. Or people who like crave energy, like crave powerful
Yeah.
energy. I feel like that's those people.
Those are like those
I'm
people
not
that feed
that.
off of it.
I'm like, let's just be even. Even Stevens over here.
I either need to be that or I need to get away from it.
Well, and I think, yeah, right. I also know people who, like, are confident enough that they can work with like confident beings, and that's why they work with those things. And it has nothing to do with like,
No, it's their resilience.
Toxic.
It's, like,
They're
it's
just-
their fortitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
They know that they can.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. Have you ever heard of somebody not resonating with their sign or like their
Of course.
zodiac? Yeah?
Which is, and I recommend this to everybody to have your houses evaluated.
Yeah.
Because as you move through life, what
Your house
you
has become
are,
more relevant. Yeah.
your house has become more relevant, but you might be at a different place in your life with what you are.
Okay.
And that, like, I have a friend of a friend, and Laura is her name. I could tag her actually in the show notes. When I tell you this lady's ability to understand astrology, if people who actually study,
because I've never gotten a deep dive. I've just like, you know,
people who study astrology for what it truly,
it's fascinating.
It is, and it's so scientific, it's so mathematical, but she could break down like your house and what you're doing at that year of your life, what it looks like.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want that.
So a lot of people like, you know, don't resonate with who they are, but you could see future in your houses, and then you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that's the path that I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Also, Christy is another person. She's studying Vedic astrology.
Okay.
And that can actually break down your houses, but also herbalism into it.
Oh, cool.
And what you should be doing crystal or herbalism wise through your life.
I want that.
To pull more
that's cool
out of your astrology.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, people are very fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by amazing people.
Yeah,
I really am.
That.
Yeah, I will. They're really good.
I'm kind of over my CoStar app. It only tells you so much.
Okay, so Strawberry Moons. This is my personal favorite one.
Mine too.
Yep. Is it just because it's in June? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, so
it's mine.
Yeah, so it's named after when strawberries have ripened. It always coincides with summer solstice or Litha.
Yeah.
It's a time for sweet magic.
Yeah.
I personally make a lot of moon water during this moon, and then I use it all throughout the year for self-love stuff, or
that's smart.
Any kind of like manifesting love or
stuff for you,
happiness and joy. Yep. I'm gonna obviously we talked about. I'm gonna list. I have a PDF file that I'm gonna put out for people.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
To just give you some like, you could print it out. You could put it in your grimoire, you could put it in whatever you want to.
It's pretty enough. You could print it off and put it on your wall.
Like... Yeah, and just kind of gives you a little bit of insight of what you can do. And then I'll list the different moons, because there's a lot of them. And then I'm going to give like space so you can discover what you want to about the moon.
Write your own notes.
Yeah, because it's important to, if you're just learning about moon cycles and moons and what you're resonating with, I recommend keeping like a journal.
Yeah.
Knowing the first moon, this is how I felt.
This is how I felt.
This is what I did.
Yeah.
This is what happened during those days.
This is what this means to me.
And then next year, you can utilize it as a tool to do what you need to do.
Yeah. Because you may not realize until you're looking back on those, like, oh, these certain phases, like, when I'm looking back, it looks like I fell off. Maybe I shouldn't work with those. Maybe I appear to be really happy when I was writing during these phases. Maybe those are the phases that I work with.
Yeah, and I mean, especially during like eclipses, right? Too, because like, I mean, you could always try to do something.
Yeah. I would not say like that shouldn't probably be like our starting point though, is starting with if we've never.
Oh no.
It wouldn't be a good stepping stone.
Start with the strawberry moon. Yeah. Do something easy. Do you do anything during moons at all? Like, do you make moon water? Do you do any of that?
I will make moon water occasionally. I probably will make it a lot more now that I have this room spray again.
Oh, yeah.
Just because, like, I was falling into a habit of, like, I was, like, making, like, herby moon water, and then it was, like, getting gross, because, you know, when you put herbs in water and then just let it sit for a while, it, like...
You have to put
sometimes stuff can grow.
Well, you have to put a, like, a DPG in it, and put, like, a...
Yeah, no, I'm not all about that.
Yeah.
But I will, I noticed, like, a lot of times, like, my crystals that I like will carry around a lot, or that I'm sitting with a lot, will just not feel as like.
Of course.
So I'll put them out. I
charge them.
That's the most that I do. Yeah, is like put stuff out and like you know like charge it, cleanse it.
Cleansing.
Yeah.
You can even like you have charging plates. Mm-hmm. You can put that out and then use that all during the lunar cycle. So that way you don't have to put all of your stuff out in the full moon. You can put pieces of things out. And moon water is definitely one of them that's probably the most popular, I'm assuming, because it's probably the easiest.
Yeah, you can even just grab a gallon of water and put it outside.
Yeah, you can.
You could. Why not?
Sure. Do know the logistics of how you're supposed to put it outside?
I just know that like the big thing is you're supposed to bring it in before sunrise. You don't want the sun to hit it.
Yep. Well, yeah, a lot of people. I don't know whether a lot of people even follow that, but that is the most.
If I'm doing it, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
Because if I'm moon charging, why do I want it bathed in sunlight?
Yeah. Well, you can also make sun water.
I know, but some of my crystals are not sun safe, so I don't want them baking in the sun.
What crystals are not sun safe, Kyle?
Amethyst.
And?
Citrine.
And?
Amazonite. Green aventurine.
Yeah.
Fluorite.
Yep.
Pretty much anything with like vibrant colors.
Just don't put anything outside.
You leave it in the sun, it's going to leach it right out of it. Yeah.
Or like even putting clear quartz, you can start a fire.
Yeah. That's like the most dangerous thing you can do with a crystal ball is leave it unattended. As I'm staring into a crystal ball.
That's why everything is very dark in here.
I would say there is no natural source of light pouring in. So
nope.
You're not going to burn this house down.
Big old baby right here. Kyle's referring to like a massive crystal ball that I have on my table in front of us.
I don't think I've ever seen like this setup in person. Like I've seen a crystal ball, but like on like a fucking like bomb ass stand.
I take it very seriously.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
I love this thing.
I feel like I'm getting ready to like grift somebody out of some money. Do some cold readings.
It should have like a thing over it and then you whoosh it off. You know what I mean?
I just saw a drag queen do a Madame Leota. Leota?
That's what
it looks so cool.
That's what I wanted to be for Halloween this year.
So cool.
I just ran out of ambition. I know. I wanted to do it at our last show.
It looks so cool because she just had like the table like on
yes,
her shoulder.
that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was so cool.
Jealous.
So cool.
Okay, so just to give you like a brief overview of the moon breakdown. So January's moon is called the wolf moon.
Okay.
So you're coming in strong.
Ooh. Why is it the wolf moon? Because I mean, I know that like the hunter moon is because it's like hunting season, and like the strawberry moon is because like we're harvesting strawberries.
So because you're coming in strong.
That's literally
powerful. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's powerful energy because it's a new rebirth.
Okay.
Wolves are known for being out during winter. But they're a powerful source during the winter.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's starting anew.
Okay. Yeah.
March's moon is called the worm moon.
Wait, what was February?
Oh, I'm so sorry. February's moon is called a snow moon.
Snow moon because it's snowing in February.
Yep. So you're ending too. So it's your last chance of like winter cleansing. Supposed to be, okay. Depending on where you're living. Obviously.
They're like, if you want to do some wintry shit, this is your time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's when things are draining and melting, and there's a lot of moon water.
Which I feel like we're always getting hammered with snow in February, but okay.
According to the Witch's Almanac this year, or for 2024, and I did say Witch's Almanac because it is different than the Farmer's Almanac. Mm-hmm. I get one every year. I love that thing. If you've never done one, that's a really good one. The Witch's Almanac next year says that January is actually supposed to be worse than February. Awesome. Supposedly.
Well, I've already started stockpiling my candy, so
nice.
I'm good.
March's moon is called the worm moon. So
worm with a Y?
No, worm.
Oh, not dragons.
Nope. Worm like the sluggy thing in the ground.
Know, I'm giving you shit, okay.
Why are you giving me shit?
Because
Why is the April moon called the pink moon?
Because April's pink. Breast cancer awareness.
No, that's October.
Why is it called a pink moon?
Flowers, I think. Actually, don't know.
Lame.
Yeah, I don't do anything
florals
with the pink moon.
For spring. Groundbreaking.
May's moon is called the flower moon.
Okay, I didn't know that one.
Appropriate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. June's moon we just talked about is called the strawberry moon.
Straubs.
July's moon is called the buck moon.
Yep, knew that.
So good stag energy there. August moon is called the sturgeon moon. September's moon is called the full corn moon, and they actually kind of like...
Pocahontas.
No.
She says that. Yes.
Go ahead, sing the song.
I'm not going to. But she does ask the question, have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn?
Well, then I guess...
She was asking, not me.
In Pocahontas, we know that it was in September.
No, she's not saying that that's the time period they're in. She's just asking the question, have you ever heard
Well, it has to be in September. Have you ever heard a wolf cry in September?
She could be saying it in May.
She's talking about September. Is Pocahontas even politically correct? It probably isn't.
She's a real person. You can say
obviously,
her name.
She's a real... No, but I mean the Disney... Well, obviously she didn't sing about the wolf crying in the blue corn moon. Or the... Yeah. No, she says blue
Have you ever
corn
heard
moon,
the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Isn't that what you said it's called?
Full corn moon.
Oh.
Yeah, full, not blue. Oh, the blue moon.
Disney
The blue moon.
If it's a blue moon in September, then it's a blue corn moon.
Disney just blew my mind. Okay, work, Disney. I don't credit.
Disney said, I'll take your neon sign and I'll up you one.
I love Disney's Pocahontas, but I know it is a terrible movie probably for...
I mean,
it's probably not good at all.
We're not going to touch it. I just...
And being from Virginia, you should know all about Pocahontas.
The lyric popped into my brain.
Oh my god. October's moon is called the Hunter's moon, or the Blood moon, which we talked about. That's about to be tomorrow.
Work.
Because it's hunting season here. November moon is the Beaver moon.
Okay.
Do you know why it's called the Beaver moon?
No comment.
No, don't think that. Think about a beaver.
Is that when beavers are most active building dams?
Yeah.
I'm so smart.
And they're nesting, like preparing for a long... Yep. So it's a beaver moon.
Shouldn't it have been a bear moon then? Bears hibernate.
But it's not hibernating, it's preparation is what they're talking about. Prepping.
But when I think about like
hard.
hunkering down for like a long winter, I think of bears more than I think of beavers.
Well, that's you.
I don't really think of beavers.
Maybe you should really work with the beaver moon. You have next month. You need to do some serious energy.
I don't like working with beavers. It's not really my thing.
Me either. December moon is called the cold moon, obviously.
Oh, real original.
True. And then, as we learned already, keep in mind that some years have 13 moons and the additional one is called blue.
Okay.
Did you love that?
Yeah, that was good.
What are you going to do next year in the moon? Now that you've learned new things.
I don't know.
Nothing.
Probably the same thing that I've been doing.
How's that working for you?
The occasional... Wow. Shots fired. Probably the occasional moon water. Definitely still charging my crystals. I love charging my crystals.
What do you do with moon water?
So I'll either put it in... I have like a face mist.
I love that.
It's just like a moisturizing face mist. I'll put it in that.
Okay.
I'll put it in the room spray that you gave me. Sometimes I'll put a little bit in my... I have like a linen spray. I'll put it in that. So like before a market. So then it's like in my like market clothes.
I love that.
Sometimes I'll put it in my laundry if I remember. So again, it's like in my clothes. Sometimes I just like make tea with it.
Yeah.
Depending, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I'm lazy and I just like put a bottle of water out there.
It's not lazy. It's still prepping.
Yeah. And then I have moon water.
I love that.
Yeah. Why? What do you do with it?
I do like a lot of ritual bath work.
Oh yeah.
I love ritual baths. I put it in the back of my Nespresso. So that way all my coffee is made with moon water.
I've put it in my diffuser before.
Yes,
for,
I
like,
do that
my
too.
Oil diffuser.
Yep, I do that too. I always use for my Rose of Jericho for my money bowl.
Yeah, that's right.
I always use
Strawberry moon.
And that's all that I have left of strawberry moon.
I was
So
gonna
that's
say,
the last
so
week
you
till
just
June.
like make a big batch of it in
I
June?
do. Yep.
That's what I'm saying. You should just put out the gallon jug, 5-gallon jugs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've never thought about it that way. I like glass just because I like the element of the glass. Because I feel the energy of glass is probably a lot better than a plastic.
Oh yeah.
If you believe in that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do probably baths more than I do anything. I'm obsessed with taking baths.
I've had that thought, but then never actually done it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I should use moon water in my baths.
You should.
I'm not
But
a-
drinking is a good thing.
I'm not
You
a big
can
bath person.
you can also spray like I know somebody who like sprays their computer down with moon water for like work energy and stuff like that. Your phone I'm sure needs cleansed. I put
I do smoke cleanse my phone occasionally.
Yeah.
Like,
you need it. That like quartz dish that you can see right there.
Yeah.
I'll put like all the bracelets that I wear. I'm not wearing any right now.
Oh yeah.
But I'll put that in there and put moon water in it to cleanse them.
I did a market with someone once who they had a sound bowl, and whenever you would buy a bracelet from them, they would put it in the sound bowl and they would sound cleanse it. Yeah.
My friend Chrissy that I've talked about earlier in this episode, actually, when we were talking about astrology houses, she is a barefoot massage therapist.
Cool.
But you can also choose like an addition to your service, and she does sound cleansing as one of them or whatever. And when you put that in a different chakra and sound cleanse your whole chakra, there's like nothing like that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, it's so good. It's my fave.
Sure.
But yeah, so this is a 2-parter.
Yes.
So I will put in the show notes the PDF files that I did.
Yes.
And we'll try and do more of that. So let us know whether you like those because
Yeah, didn't you say you're gonna try and do like a whole like they can build a grimoire?
I
as
would
we
like
go?
to.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I would like to. I would like some Patreon like only type things because but that way you're learning about different things and you can hold it and reference.
Well, and it's like you said, like then you're not kind of like just taking our word for law. You're able to like, here's some reference material. Here's some like, don't just like do what I'm telling you to do because I told you to do it.
And I think I've been very transparent that you don't need to listen to me and do your own things.
Yeah, I mean, I said that during my Black Eyed Kids episode. Like, I didn't want to just tell story after story after story. I kind of want people to like. And this is across the board for any episode. Like, use us as a jumping point. Like, we've said it a couple times on here. Like, we're not bringing anything new to the table on on any of these subjects. So do your own research, see what resonates for you. Something my mom used to tell me all the time is she would drag me along to church, which I like. At the time, I did not like hearing it, but I take it with me with a lot of things. Like now, she used to always tell me to take what you can out of it. You don't have to agree with everything that they say, but take what you can out of it and apply it to your life.
I like that though because it's open to everything's open to interpretation.
Yeah. So you can sit here and listen to us talk for an hour, but you don't have to believe anything and everything that we say. But take what you can, take what applies to you, take what you want, and apply it to your life.
I love it.
Right?
I do. Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how we're going to do everything now.
I love it.
I love it.
So stay tuned for part 2.
Part 2 next week. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. We're everywhere.
Review. Yeah. Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora. What else?
Wherever you can leave a 5-star review.
I love it.
We're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Insta.
It's coming.
Follow us on
wherever you can follow us.
Just do it.
We love you.
Bye.
Keep it cryptid.
Keep it spooky. A Semi-Charmed Kind of Podcast is hosted by Ashley Williams and Kyle Ugis. Music credits by Chauncey Fortune and art by Decay Decor. Keep listening and keep it cryptid.
Wrapped in fragile hands.